Yama-55 in Sparky's Worm. Story by Cowbilly Willy. Illustrated by C. Willett Wilson. It was so early in the morning that the sun would not be up for hours, but for some reason Ake was at the barn. Papa was eating his breakfast from the hay mound and Mama was asleep. "Oh, I'm sorry I woke you up, little Sparky," said Ake. "I just got back from cutting the rubber trees. I'll be doing this job every night now that the leaves are back on the trees." Ake hung his jacket and headlight on the barn rail. Sparky was fascinated by the bright light. "Go back to sleep until Guy says it's time to wake up," Papa said. "Then you can go over to Willy's and play with Yama." Sparky laid down next to Mama, but only until Papa and Ake left. Then Sparky quietly walked over to look at the light Ake had left behind. Ever since Sparky got lost in the spookies, he was wishing he could be more like Yama-Haha. His friend Yama had a very bright light and was never afraid of the dark. Yama had saved Sparky from Lord Canis Lupus and his wolf pack. Yama was brave, fast, and a loyal friend. That's why Mama and Papa had come to love him like a son of their own. Thinking of Yama and looking at Ake's light, Sparky got an idea. Yama-Haha was asleep on Willy's porch when he heard strange sounds from the back pasture. Yama couldn't tell if it was growling or howling he heard. Sometimes it even sounded like voices. Yama always watched over Willy and Ake's places while they slept. Yama always woke up quickly if something wasn't quite normal. He quietly rolled to the edge of the porch to see what was going on. Now the voices were more clear. He heard deep, evil voices. He heard Sparky's hooves running. He heard wolves howling. He saw Ake's light bouncing around all over in the field. The wolves were attacking Ake and Sparky. "I'm Lord Yama, the destroyer of wolves," said Sparky, doing his best to copy Yama as he galloped in the dark with Ake's light around his neck. Then he said in a higher-pitched voice, "Oh no, please don't hurt us." "I will hurt you if you don't stay away from Sparky," Sparky said in his Yama voice. Then vroom, vroom, boom, beep, beep, as he started running in circles. Sparky was having so much fun pretending to be Yama. He was out of breath, but he decided to start at the beginning again anyway. Sparky hadn't noticed the light had dimmed while he was playing. He took off at full gallop. Suddenly, Ake's light went dark. Sparky was now blindly running at full speed, and before he could stop, bonk, Sparky had run headfirst into a tree. Sparky was dizzy and stumbling in the dark. Luckily, Yama came zooming up over the hill at that very moment. "Sparky, are you okay?" Yama asked. I think so," said Sparky in a dazed voice, still staggering to stay on his feet. "Yama, how much did you hear before you came?" "Look out!" Yama exclaimed. "You almost stepped on something." At Sparky's feet was a little worm. "Oh my, I think it fell from that big web," Sparky said, looking high up in the tree he hit. "I see a lot more of them up there. We must try to put it back with its family." "How will we do that?" asked Yama. "We don't have any hands." "I've got an idea," replied Sparky. Then he put his nose down, and sure enough, the little worm crawled right onto the end of his nose. The two tried everything, but even with Sparky standing on Yama's seat, it was just too high up for them to reach. "I guess we'll have to take it home," said Sparky. "We can't just leave it." As the two friends were on their way back to the barnyard, they studied the worm. It was small, darkish brown, with yellow hairs on its back. Sparky was fighting the urge to sneeze. "What are you going to name it?" asked Yama. "It sure is ugly. If not for us, I'm sure nobody would want it." "I think I'll call it Maisuai," said Sparky. "It means not beautiful." "That name sure does fit it," Yama laughed. "Oh, I forgot to ask. Where did you get that light you're wearing?" "Oh no," cried Sparky. "It's Ake's light, and he don't know I took it. We have to put it back, quick." When Naut come flying to the barn to give her morning greeting, she saw the strangest sight. Sparky had Ake's light on his neck. He had hooked the elastic band on a nail, trying to slip it off. He stretched it back and smack! The strap slipped off the nail, and the light snapped back, hitting Sparky sharply on the nose. "Oh my!" exclaimed Naut. "Let me help you with that before you hurt yourself." Naut flew over and grasped the strap in her talons, pulled it up over Sparky's head, then dropped it on the nail where Ake always kept it. Sparky's mom had witnessed the whole thing and now approached. "Now what have you boys been up to?" she asked Sparky and Yama. Sparky told his mother all about playing at night and knocking the worm out of the tree. Of course he left out a few details. "It needs to go back with his family," Mama said. "We tried everything," Yama said. "They are too high in the tree." "Well, I guess you boys are parents now," Mama said. "It needs to eat something, but what?" "I know what," said Pishua. At first it seemed only Ache could get food from Maishawai. Pishua had told them that the worm would only eat mistletoe growing on and around the tree where it fell from, and mistletoe is poisonous. Ache and Papa went to the pasture and brought back some mistletoe just as Pishua had instructed. Ache was wearing his yellow gloves to protect his skin. As soon as he put the mistletoe near Maishawai, the hungry little worm started eating. "What a glutton," said Papa. "Oh, it's just a hungry little baby," said Pishua. Everybody laughed. Several days passed. Sparky and Yama figured out a way to get food from Maishawai. Sparky cut the mistletoe. Yama would catch it in his cargo box as it fell. Ache would give it to Maishawai. It seemed like Pishua was always someplace nearby. She seemed to know everything about worms. She also often talked of her upcoming journey far beyond the spookies. "In about a week I will be going to see the elephants," she said. "You go there every few weeks," Yama said. "It must be very refreshing. You always look like a new butterfly when you get back." "Yes," she replied, "a new butterfly." The next day was a very special day. Ache and Papa were building a bridge for Yama to enter the barnyard by himself. Jumping the fence all the time was rough on Yama's shock absorbers. Papa had an idea about a weighted teeter-totter that would allow Yama to come in, while at the same time preventing the other animals from getting out. Yama was so excited and insisted on helping out, so bright and early he drove up with Willy's tools in his box. In the last month, Yama had really become part of Sparky's farm family, and a good friend to Ache, too. He'd recently even helped Ache round up some lost cattle. Sparky didn't wake up as early as Yama. In fact, he slept in until it was almost noon. He had sneaked out again playing with Ache's light. He was out so late that he couldn't wake up in the morning. When he finally did wake up, everyone else was out doing their normal routine. Only Pishua was nearby. Sparky saw her flying around the barn, and then he was shocked to see when he looked at Maishawai. Maishawai had changed colors, but that wasn't the shocking part. The worm has lost his legs and was hanging from a leaf on a thread. "Don't be alarmed, Sparky," said Pishua. "All the other worms are going through this phase too." Sparky panicked. Without staying to hear another word, Sparky raced off to the pasture to check on the other worms in the tree. He ran so fast that Pishua couldn't keep up with him. What he saw in the tree shocked him even more. Sparky expected to see hundreds of little worms munching mistletoe in a flurry of activity. Instead, a tattered web and hundreds of little yellow pods swung silently in the breeze. Sparky was terrified. He had to find Yama or somebody. Sparky came running back as fast as he could, and he passed Pishua again. "Sparky, wait!" she cried out, but Sparky wasn't listening. Papa and Ache had just finished the teeter-totter bridge, and Yama was testing it. Yama had to keep his balance while crossing the center slowly so it wouldn't slam him down too hard. Next, he had to go off quickly once the end touched down so he wouldn't spring up and hit his license plate. "Well, little boy Blue, looks like you got the hang of coming in," said Ache. "Next we'll fix it so Papa can let you go back out." Just at that moment, Sparky came galloping up fast and out of breath. "Their legs fell off, all of them," he cried with panic in his voice. "Yama, come quick. We've failed Maishawai. We're terrible parents." "Follow me," Sparky cried as he quickly turned and galloped back toward the barn. Nobody noticed poor Pishua was trying desperately to catch up with Sparky as he raced back and forth all over the farm. When Yama and Sparky got to the barn, it was just as Sparky had said. Where Maishawai had been the day before, a strange yellow bag with a few black spots hung from a thread under a leaf. Knock the bird, Moo the pig, Fet the duck were all staring at it, puzzled by the sight as well. "Oh no," said Yama sadly. "Don't worry," said Pishua, finally catching up with them. "Maishawai is in cocoon. I'll explain. It's all part of a beautiful cycle, a cycle that even involves my journey to see the elephants. A few days later, Sparky and Yama were watching Papa test the exit mechanism for Yama's teeter-totter bridge. Papa would pull a rope and the ramp would lower on the barnyard side of the fence. This way Yama could exit, but the other animals could not. Pichua said her mama will be waiting for her beyond the spooky, Sparky said thoughtfully, where the elephants follow the river forever, and take her to see her papa and the rest of her family, continued Yama. I never understood it, but she's always so refreshed when she gets back. My journey will take me all the way to America, Papa said, where I'll run free with Grandpa and the great wild Mustang herds of the Southwest. Hurry, come quick, Pichua interrupted. It's time! It's time! Yama and Sparky raced to the barn. Pichua arrived quickly after them and then hovered over the cocoon. Just look, she said. It's opening up. She's coming out. Yama and Sparky couldn't believe it. There was a split on one side. The cocoon had become almost transparent, and something was wiggling its way out. Pichua had moved closer to it and was talking softly to it. Little by little, the little creature worked its way out of the cocoon, and by early evening it had fully emerged. Yama and Sparky were so surprised to see that Maisuai now looked almost exactly the same as Pichua. The only difference was that Maisuai's wings were crumpled on her back and sides. My lovely girl, said Pichua. Your lovely girl, gasped Sparky. Maisuai is your daughter? Of course she is. From the time I laid her egg in a tree, Pichua laughed. Can't you see the family resemblance? I think we need to change her name, said Yama. Maisuai was a good name for an ugly worm, but she's not ugly now. Her name is Pichua, said Pichua firmly. Her name is the same as my name and my mother's. Now go tell the others that we will have a meeting in the pasture in half an hour. I need to talk to my daughter alone. Yama and Sparky left, as she'd asked. Now that they are gone, Pichua said, it's time to tell you all about Sparky, our mission, the cycle of our lives, and the great journey to see the elephants. There's not much time. All of Sparky's wild friends and most of the farm animals gathered in the pasture near the worm tree, as they'd come to call it. They could even push Willy's wheelchair for him so he could attend the meeting. I've called you here to introduce my daughter and to reveal a family secret, said Pichua. As most of you know, she continued, I will be flying beyond the spookies soon. I am tired, and the time for my journey is near. Why the big meeting? Yama asked. You've made this trip every few weeks. No, Yama, she replied. I haven't. While she was talking, it was clear that Pichua was indeed very tired. She had risen and fallen while her daughter had easily hovered in place. That was my mother who went the last time, Pichua continued, and her mother the time before. Since the day Sparky was born, one of us has been chosen from each generation to watch over him. This time, by chance, it was Sparky and Yama that made the selection. Now with great effort she flew to the top of the worm tree and clung to a leaf. The breeze was gentle, but she was just barely hanging on. We have always been nearby, even when you didn't notice us. We live our life cycle from egg to worm to cocoon to butterfly, and then we move on to the next adventure. Part of me will journey on. Part of me stays behind. Part of me returns in each new generation. Sparky, I am not the same butterfly who saw you born that rainy day 6 cycles ago. But I am. Then she continued. This is Pichua, my beloved daughter, she said in a weak voice. She is the 7th painted Jezebel butterfly, guardian of Sparky the horse. Please love and accept her, as you have us all before. Hello, said young Pichua. Everyone gathered around the new butterfly, but Sparky was looking up. Wait, cried Sparky, now pacing. She can't go. She's too weak to fly far. Sparky was right. Pichua was having trouble just keeping her eyes open. Just then the leaf broke away, with Pichua still clinging to it. She fell asleep as the wind carried her higher, only barely aware of Sparky chasing after her on the ground below until he reached the fence. She heard him crying out to her repeatedly as she spun out of control. Then all was darkness and silence. Hello, lovely daughter, Pichua heard her mother say. The whole family is waiting for you. Are you ready to go? Pichua realized she was awake again. She was high in the sky, face to face with her own mother, who looked much younger than the last time she'd seen her. She suddenly realized she didn't feel tired anymore, and was also much younger. She was beyond the spookies. Below was a lush green jungle. A dirt trail wound alongside a sparkling blue river. Elephants of all sizes filled the trail and the river in an endless line. Above the elephants, a line of butterflies as far as the eye could see were flying into the most beautiful sunrise. It had been sunset when Pichua drifted off to sleep. Now it was sunrise, a new dawn. It seemed fitting somehow. Yes, Mama, she said. I'm ready. A few days later came the weekend. Everyone gathered at Willy's cabin for front yard frolics and to eat some of Willy's great K11 fried chicken. One thing Sparky had resolved to do was always notice Pichua. In fact, Sparky had even requested a bouquet of flowers to be added to their snack table. Sparky realized that her beauty and companionship was all too brief, and every day was a gift. So he vowed to enjoy and cherish her company every single day for as long as it would last, until it was her turn to fly beyond the spookies. When that time came, he would welcome her daughter, forever loving that part of Pichua that had left his farm, that part of her that had stayed behind, and a new part of her that had arrived. Sparky even invented new games so all of his smaller friends could play too. You think she's an angel? Asked Yama. She has wings. She watches over you all the time, and she's so beautiful. Funny we never really noticed her before. Angel? I don't really know, Sparky replied. But of all our friends, she has the least number of days, so I want her to know every day how much we love her. Oh, you're so sweet, said Pichua, dropping down and tickling Sparky's nose. But you should behave that way with all your friends and family. Listening in when other people are talking is rude, said Yama. But you're not people, she shot back. You're a talking horse and a motorcycle that drives itself. Everybody laughed except Egg. Give me some more chicken, Egg said with his mouth full. The end.
Buy my book! Buy my book! Buy my book!